Hey, Krista.
Hey, Sarah.
We're back for season 2, baby.
Right? Who would have thought we'd be back for another one?
I know. We still have so many things to talk about.
So I guess I'll see you Tuesday? Hey, girl.
Hey, Krista. What's up?
What's going on? I'm excited to chat today.
I was going to say, I'm very excited about this one, and I feel like the listeners will be very excited about this topic too, because who isn't excited about this one? Krista, tell everyone what we're chatting about today.
I'm happy to tell everybody what we're chatting about today. We're going to talk about travel. And I think we're coming to the season where that's the top of everybody's mind, talking about the aspects of travel, from the planning to the going to the staying to the packing, all the things related to travel today. We're going to dig into it. Sound good?
Yes, absolutely.
The worst part about flying is taking off for me.
Oh my gosh. Okay, no, we're gonna get into that later. That's not my worst part. Absolutely not. No.
Well, let's start it off light, or maybe not light. Like, when was the last time that you've traveled on a plane?
2022.
Okay, so pretty recent. It's been over 3 years for me, which is very, very unusual. I haven't traveled since before the pandemic. So I'm rusty.
Well, I wouldn't say you're rusty. I would just say I think a lot of things have changed since COVID in terms of traveling. So you might be a little surprised when you do travel next, because just cross your fingers that your plane doesn't get delayed or canceled like hours before your flight, and just everything to do with the airport and everything like that. Just a lot of things have changed. I think maybe now they haven't, but when I traveled last year, it was pretty intense.
Oh yeah, that's right, because you got your flight almost canceled, I think, a couple days before or a week before or something like that.
Oh yeah. No, it fully got canceled. 3 days, 2 or 3 days before we left. Yeah, that was really fun.
Traveling for me is always stressful. For something like that to happen is like basically 10x the anxiety about traveling. But I think that segues into what I think we should probably talk about first, is like choosing your travel destination, and maybe a side part of that is choosing the airline that you fly on.
Oh, okay. Okay. Just deciding that you do want to travel and that you are able to travel is just excited. It's just exciting, period. It's just, you're hyped. You're trying to find a good deal. It's so exciting. That brings me so much joy to look for travel deals and get on the websites and analyze the data and figure out the best time to go. I love it. It just makes me so excited. Even if I'm not traveling for 10 months in advance, I'm still oh yes, this is so fun. The joys, little joys.
I'm loving this energy. So I'm gonna just introduce a really quick stat, and then we're gonna dig into your competitive adrenaline filled nature about finding the best deal.
Yeah.
I thought that people would kind of pull back a bit after COVID and just, inflation, and it's on top of everybody's mind in terms of what they're going to spend, or they're going to still travel. I pulled a stat that said, and it's from a travel and tourism statistics site, so it's a global view. Mm-hmm. Despite inflationary pressures, only 5% of travelers said that they will or have already decreased their travel budget. And that's a current stat.
5%.
Yeah.
So barely anybody. So yeah, even with the increase in prices, people are still I'm still going to travel.
Yeah, I'm probably going to stay for less days or eat less food, but my money is going to stay.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I saw something that, I read something that 65% of Gen Zers ranked travel and seeing the world as the most important way to spend their money. Nice.
That is not surprising in the days of social media. That's all you see is people standing with their back to the camera on top of a mountain cliff, looking up at in front of some big giant lake, just doing all of those things.
Well, they need to get it for their Instagram and for TikTok. Come on, Krista.
Yeah, obviously you need to do the dance in a tropical or global location. You can't just do it in your kitchen. That's stupid.
Exactly.
Do you normally have a budget? Knowing that you've like a growing family, do you kind of have an idea of like where you want to land in terms of like how much you're going to pay?
Like the cheapest yet safest. Yes, yet like the best. I know I don't have like a number because I'm not like up to date with how much everything costs in terms of like flights and hotels and cars. It's just like everything is just so expensive right now. But if I can find ways to, you know, bring down the price, maybe leaving on a different day, maybe, you know, maybe there's an option to go to different airport where Krista and I live in Toronto, Pearson, and all the flights going in and out of Toronto, they're very expensive. So there are people that I know that have like literally drove to the US of A and jumped on a plane over there, and they got a cheaper flight. But, you know, you have to, you know, drive X amount of hours and park your car and everything, but that's a way to save money.
I mean, I've definitely done it in the past, gone to Buffalo and then flew from Buffalo in like domestically within the US though. Like it isn't something for, like an international travel, but yeah, for sure.
What about you? How do you, sorry, Krista, how do you, do you have like a budget in mind when you're looking?
Yeah. I mean, for me, I try and like I do a lot of all-inclusives just because like I'm so burnt out. I don't want to think about anything, though I'm open.
Yes.
Like in more international travel, I don't do that obviously. But if it's more international, I'd say I'm like you, where I'm like, I'm going to compare. It's a lot of comparison shopping, figuring out like the best way, the cheapest way, and then picking out of those choices what makes the most sense. So, you know, it's hard to know. To your point, like it's hard to know, like I only want to spend $5,000 traveling internationally. There's no way to know that that's actually how you're going to end up.
Exactly. But I will say one thing. I will pay more money to get a direct flight than have layovers.
Yes.
Like I just want to get to my destination. I don't want to be laid over one, two, three. Oh my God, kill me. No, I just want to get there. Let's go.
I'm the same now. Like, I'm definitely not like, you know, let's do one stop to save money. And definitely flew on like some shitty airlines in my past to like international destinations to save money. I will never do that again because I felt like I was going to die on one of the flights home. And like that's part of the reason why I like have anxiety to travel now. So I'm like, I don't care if everybody in my group is taking this one flight, this one airline to this place. I will pay more and I will meet them there at this point because I'm not doing that. My safety is number one.
Same. And there are specific airlines that I will not fly on. I will say, nope, I will pay more money to fly on X airline because I'm not going to be flying on those other ones.
No. Where it's like, we don't know what the last time they did maintenance on the plane. No, thank you.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, no, I want to feel safe and I have no control over this aircraft. So let's just get there all in one piece. Thank you.
It's just like,
did you know, Krista, talking about travel and you and I, women are statistically and actually much more likely to travel than men.
Oh, I did not know that. I actually would have thought that was the opposite.
Well, you are wrong.
Well, if we want to like fall back to like stereotypes, I guess maybe women are more likely to spend stuff on ancillary things like shoes and purses and clothes and nails. So like travel would be one of those things too. Whereas guys are probably more, I'm going to hustle. I'm going to work as many hours as I can. I'm going to pack the money away. I'm going to do my overtime. And they don't necessarily think of like travel and, you know, taking time out to like recharge because that's it gives feminine energy, right?
Yeah. And I'm gonna say something very crazy, but in a household, who do you think, you know, books the vacation? Generally.
The woman does.
There you go.
It's crazy because I was just watching a whole bunch of commercials about Uber and like reserving your ride ahead of time. And they have this whole character of like airport dad who's like books the ride early and is in charge of the luggage and holding the passports. I'm like, never in my life has my dad ever planned any trip, booked anything, held any passports or knew what the fuck was going on, respectfully.
Yes.
Like, majority of my like teenage years, he couldn't remember what our birthdays were. Like, are you kidding me? Like, I don't, in whose world? I don't know. I don't know anybody's world where their dad was in charge of that.
No, neither. I've definitely seen those TikToks though, where it's like, where the dad's like up early, like wants to get to the airport like 4 hours early. It's like, nah, maybe my grandpa, but no, definitely not. That's
I would say that my brother is probably like that though. He's the one that's like searching for the deals and doing all of that. Whether he's like doing the booking and the organization of like getting to the airport is another story, but he's definitely the person that like books the trips for them.
I just find it so
that's
exciting
because
to book.
He's more tech savvy than my sister-in-law.
Got it. Is there any particular websites you go to look for vacations?
So it's been such a long time. I had to like revisit this for the purposes of recording because I couldn't remember the kind of websites that I used to use for like looking up flights. So I had to like go into my old bookmarks on my laptop to be like, what did I used to like use? Yeah. And things have changed. So I have used Skyscanner.
Yeah.
Heard of that one?
Yeah.
Google Flights. There's another one that's a Google one called itsoftware.com. What else is there? I have secretflying.com.
Ooh, I haven't heard of that one.
I haven't used it very often, but I think the premise of that one is they give you a lot of like last minute flights where they're like sell-off seats, or it's called like a deadhead flight where the plane is flown overseas or wherever it is and it needs to come back regardless of whether or not there's passengers on it. So you get it for really cheap. Yeah.
That's the dream. I have to find those flights.
Well, I know somebody that used to get on them quite a bit. I'm just like, what is this deadhead that you speak of? I've not heard of it before. Another thing that people have been doing, which I hadn't heard about either, but now airlines are really cracking down on it, is called skip lagging.
What's that?
Heard of that?
No.
It's so I mean, you and I would never hear of it because God forbid we would ever do like a layover, right? But it would probably be more prevalent in the States where they're traveling in the States and they're going to have like a layover in one city before going to the next city, which makes the flight cheaper rather than direct. But what they do is they book it, so there's a layover, but the layover is actually their final destination. Whoa! So maybe they're going LA to like somewhere in North Carolina and then somewhere into like New York, but their destination is actually North Carolina, so they don't get on the next leg of the flight.
Ooh, that's a good one. Oh, it's scandalous.
Right? I had not heard about it until recently, and I guess this must be like now this is a few months back. This is like in the summer. A kid was booking a flight to go home to his parents, and his parents had booked him a skip leg flight, and they canceled. His flight got canceled as a result, so he got stranded. Oh, jeez. That's the worst. Yeah. Jeez. But also, it's one thing to take a chance if you are traveling with your kids and you'll handle the repercussions if you get screwed over. But it's another thing to send your child there. And then what are you going to do? Angrily tell customer service that they are responsible for leaving your child stranded when you know that that's not policy? Yeah, it's true. Also, I don't know if people realize this. Maybe Canadians will, but probably not Americans. But flying within Canada is outrageous. Like, it is cheaper for Canadians to fly literally anywhere else. It's like, it's cheaper to fly to Europe than to go over a couple of, like, I might as well go to Europe than to go to Vancouver. Yeah. And that's like, determined a lot of my vacations. Yeah, it's so wild because then you hear of Europeans just hopping on a flight. Oh, I paid $70, and you're like, what? And they're just going like an hour and a half somewhere else to visit. I'm just like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, that's like the dream. Well, I mean, flying Canada's a lot bigger, so you can't get very far in an hour. Like, you can't. I don't even think you get out of Ontario in an hour. I know, but try to find a flight that's $70 to fly anywhere in Canada. Oh, well, of course. Yeah, no. Definitely not happening. No. Okay, so you've booked your flight. So super exciting. You've booked your vacation. You booked your travel destination. So what does Krista usually do next? You didn't want to share your travel websites first?
I had all yours. I think one of my favorites is Google Flights, and then I do like the email notifications, and then I select the thing that's like let me know when things dip down a bit. And then I always check the airline flights too, like the airline websites as well, because I don't know, I just don't like. I go directly onto the website to see.
Yep,
that's about it. I just check I check multiple times a day, every day of the week. If I'm like really into it, I want to book something, just continue to check morning, afternoon, evening. If you're up in the middle of the night, like they change freaking constantly.
I definitely am the same, that I will check the website for the type of plane, the seating arrangement of the plane, all of that kind of stuff.
And quick tip. I've heard that if you go in incognito mode, what's that mode called? Incognito mode on your on your web browser, the price stays the same or something. Because I feel like if you continue to look up the same price with the same airline at the same time, for some reason, why does it do this? The price will like just for fun increase because it knows you want that airline and they want you to book with them.
Yeah.
But if you don't book with them, the price is just going to like increase a little bit. It's like, get out of town. Like, stop that. It's already expensive as it is.
Totally. They like use the cookies to like track how often you're searching for it. And I think they're doing their own version of dynamic pricing to be like, oh, you were on it that bad? Oh, well, we're going to show you different versions of the fares to see how badly you want to take this trip and go to this place.
And we're going to advertise it everywhere you go on the internet and on social media, just to continue to remind you. Love that.
Remember when you wanted to go to Spain? It's still here. So going back to your question of like, what do I do next after booking a flight? I would say I would take a step back and say that I'm looking at a couple different things while booking the flight. You're looking at like hotel, because for whatever reason, the flight is always like cheap and then the hotel is always like expensive or something. Like there's always something that doesn't match. And then figuring out from there, do they offer like a shuttle from the airport, or is that something that I need to try and find accommodation for, or I'm gonna like figure out a cab when I get there. Those are all things that come into play when booking.
And like, do I need a rental car? I should look into that. Like all the things. Yeah. Even looking into travel insurance if you want that. Like, it's just so much.
Should always get that.
Yep. I agree.
I know 2 people that have traveled without travel insurance and like broken a leg on the vacation, and they didn't have travel insurance. Yep.
Yikes. Yeah, no.
So, you know.
Just to be on the safe side.
Exactly. Are you an itinerary planner? Like, do you plan out activities each day of your trip, or do you kind of like go with the flow, kind of see how you're feeling when you get there, vibes? I mean, you have kids, so it's a different vibe of like, is there a pool? Is there a place that has chicken nuggets?
I wouldn't say we're like stuck to daily itinerary, but there are definitely like things that I want to hit up, right? So I'll do research before, obviously, to be like, hey, what's cool? What do we need to hit up? You know, what are the best times or days to go for those particular things? Absolutely. And when I'm searching for a hotel to stay at, my number one mandatory item needs to be the hotel needs to have a continental breakfast. Abso-fucking-lutely. I am not going to get out of my bed and get ready and then go looking for breakfast. Nah. I just want to eat, maybe bring an apple with me, a banana, and then let's go.
That was going to be on one of my like tips for like traveling, of like looking for places that give you like free breakfast.
Yes.
Or what other people do is like they decide from a budgeting perspective that they're going to plan their stay close to somewhere where they can get like grocery type of items for like breakfast, of like some fruit or some cereal or some like whatever smoothie, do a sandwich type of situation at lunch, and then splurge on dinner.
Yeah, absolutely.
Are there any kind of like travel blogs that you follow to like get ideas of what you want to do in each of the places? Because as a mom, you want it to be a bit kid friendly too, right?
My gosh, no, but should I? Not specifically blog, but I'll watch YouTube videos because I'm a visual person. So if I see like, I don't know, that doesn't look really great for my little kiddos, I like that. I like checking out social media and just kind of seeing what's there, just so I have an idea of kind of maybe what we can hit, depending on the day, depending how the kids are, things like that.
Are there any special channels specifically that you look at, or like social media accounts?
Nah.
Or you just like to type in a search?
Type in a search, see what pops up.
Got it.
Yeah. But also, like, depending where you are traveling, I think a universal travel adapter, like you were going to Europe, like that is, you need that. Hello. And always downloading Google Translate is just always good to have too, just in case, depending where you are. You can speak. I have to go to the washroom, things like that. Those are always good to have as well.
Yeah, you're touching on good points of like in the process of planning, like what are things that you're going to need when you're there, because you need to operate under the assumption that nothing is like at home.
No.
Plugs are different. The hair dryer is going to be different. Like all of those things you need to keep in mind. You need like a backup plan in case you like burn out your hair dryer or your flat iron if you're a woman or a man with long hair, because that can happen. Like, what are you going to do?
Exactly.
I did want to touch on, before we move forward, of some travel blogs that I did find that I wanted to share. And in the spirit of AI, that there is at least a website called destinations.ai that I think is supposed to be helpful in like creating or planning travel or itineraries.
Ooh.
Right. But a couple of blogs are one, it's called We Seek Travel, Adventures and Sunsets, Jessie on a Journey, and there's a couple more, but other people can Google that. But so those are people that I think spend most of their time traveling, so they just tell you about like what it's like to travel. Some are couples, some are solo, which speaks to another question. Would you ever travel solo? I mean, you have kids and you can't. Or have you?
I have for work. And that was like my first time ever. And I had to like go on like a 4.5 hour, 5 hour flight and go to a city I've never been to. So that was an experience, but it was fun. Did that twice actually, but it's a little nerve wracking the first time for sure, but it's fun. What about you?
I've only traveled for work and I've been a few times. I don't like it.
Yeah.
It's a different level of stress when you're traveling for work.
It's not a vacation.
It's not.
Absolutely not.
So, okay,
so you would not recommend. If you haven't done it, do it if you're able to, and then decide if you want to or not after that. It's a good experience. Okay, so now we're coming to like days before your trip is here. When do you start packing? Okay, tell us.
Loyalty programs, like loyalty points. Do you use that? Do you use that towards flights or accommodation, anything like that for discounts? Because I'm a big loyalty point person when it comes to flights.
Yeah, obviously. Like I literally laughed when you said that.
Well, I know that you are, because you're the frugal. What's a frugal female?
Yeah, yes, and again, like, hello, like I have these points, I want to use them, and then like you feel good about you, like I would like to redeem my points, thank you. Yeah, absolutely, I do. I have a few different cards that I can, put my points towards flights and whatever, and hotel rooms and rental car.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, I say if you travel a little bit, it's always good to have, because it's super exciting to redeem them. And then you're like, oh, my flight wasn't this. It was only this.
Yeah, because you only have to pay tax. I would say in this generation or younger generations who maybe use credit cards quite a bit, look into the loyalty programs that are associated with them to see where you can get the most bang for your buck. Especially these Gen Zers who are, saying that traveling is paramount for them.
Absolutely.
Well, you could travel a lot more if you can travel, for free.
Absolutely. So I'm assuming you have it as well?
Yeah, I don't have a couple of cards though. I just have one that I use for flights strictly. And it's not been as good as it has been like in earlier years, but I'm not paying $1,000 for a flight to like Florida. I'm going to pay like $200 for the tax.
Got
Call it a day.
Nice. Good for you. That's good. Okay, so we are days before you leave for your destination. Days. Krista, when do you start packing?
Okay, well, one thing is I'm going to check my passport obsessively every day to make sure that the expiry date is not wrong, that I haven't misread it. And I'm going to continue to do that even when I'm on vacation. I'm going to look for it every day and check it. But
just to make sure the numbers haven't changed.
Right? Because I don't trust myself.
Okay.
and like make sure I know where it is. But I pack like hours before
Oh my God,
I'm going to leave for the airport, and I don't sleep that night because the only way I can be ensured that I won't forget anything is when I'm down to the wire and I have to account for everything. I've packed early before and basically forgot all of my jewelry. So I will never do that again. But here's what I do. I start to create a pile.
Okay, good.
Yeah. So that happens way before. So I start to create a pile of clothes that, you know, I'm going to take on vacation. So that starts a week or more than a week ahead. Mm-hmm. And then from there, I will start to like, I don't know, within a week, I don't know how many days it is, I'll start to like edit. I'll try on all the clothes as close as I can to the date that I'm leaving because, you know, clothes never fit right. It's only there and they're going to look totally different when you're away. So then I'll try them all on. And be like, this fits, this doesn't fit, this whatever. Try and figure out my outfits. I always, no matter what, I pack so that in case I have to live in this country, inadvertently, I have enough clothes.
Like, when you're packing, do you overpack underwear?
Yes. I don't know any woman who doesn't, except women that don't wear underwear. Because
Oh my God.
I'm going for 3 days.
Yeah.
I need 21 pairs of underwear because I need to change the underwear 7 times in the day.
And like, we don't do that on a normal basis. On a day-to-day in our lives, we don't do that. But on a vacation, we need triple the amount.
Well, and the thing is, I always do that to places where I'm going to be living in a bikini all day. I'm not even wearing underwear.
I know. It's hilarious. Yeah.
The underwear I'm wearing in the morning needs to be different. I'm going to be in a bathing suit, and then I'll go back to the room, and then it's like have a shower rest period. That needs underwear. And then I'm going to go out. That I need going out underwear. And then when I come home from going out, I can't sleep in that underwear. I need to go back into comfy underwear. There's also categories.
Oh, you actually do that. I don't. I obviously overpack my underwear, but I don't wear 3/4 of them because I'm like, idiot. Like, what are you doing?
No, I have like comfortable lounge in the room underwear or like look like a bum in the resort underwear or whatever it is. But then it's like I'm wearing a sexy dress, basically string underwear. Like, and that's not something I'm going to sleep in.
Gotcha. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah. I feel like that's like, well, I feel like women overpack I overpack.
I think
always.
anybody who is raised a certain way is just be like, you just don't know. And maybe
don't know.
Maybe our parents grew up in a time where like underwear was scarce and they've trained us to do so, but I don't know anybody who doesn't pack a lot of underwear. Mm-hmm. I didn't know a girl who used to pack a lot of pajamas. How many pajamas do you pack?
1.
Right?
Yeah. Like that's so low on my list.
Exactly. I'm like, I don't even pack pajamas. I'm packing like a slummy t-shirt or like a t-shirt that I'm like going to wear once and then I'm going to sleep in. If I even sleep in a t-shirt, right? Like,
yeah. No. But I love that you put in piles ahead of time. That makes me happy. But the fact that you actually like pack your suitcase hours before stresses me out. And then this just goes to show how different we are.
Yeah. Like you probably have your stuff ready to go by the door like a week out. There's no way. I have no idea what's in there. I need to know right up until I leave exactly what is in my suitcase. And I need to weigh it right before I leave the house.
Oh. I don't weigh it. I just hope for the best.
Okay, see,
I will make a list first. Yeah, I don't want to forget it. I have 3 people to pack for, plus my husband. So like 4. There's a lot of things.
I'm shocked that you don't weigh it though. That you must always be underweight because I
am 100%.
Yeah. God, you need to tell me what's in there then. You pack a lot of underwear, but then no clothes. You pack like a pant, a short, and like 3 shirts or something, and you're there gone for 2 weeks. Okay,
but it depends when you're traveling and what season it is in Canada and what type of weather you're going to. Because if it's winter, the dead cold of winter in Canada, and you were going somewhere tropical, hell yeah, everything's going to be laid out like a month in advance. Hello. Like, why? I'm not using it. Of course it is. Because I have to always think, am I forgetting something?
Yeah.
Do I need to get something? Am I forgetting something for the boys? Oh, should I bring this? Should I bring that? Oh, I need to get this. I need to write down this. Like, there is just so much. Oh, yeah. List first. Then you start packing. Ooh, question.
I make a
Do
list.
you pack with packing cubes?
Yes. That's how I'm able to pack for like a year's worth of clothes.
Ooh, okay, yeah. I feel like I need to invest in those.
Yeah. Here's what I do with the packing cubes. Packing cubes I bought 10 plus years ago now when I did like my first like international trip. But what I do, which may be different with what other people do with the packing cubes, is I will take my clothes and I'll either like, depending how big the actual piece of clothing is, I will half it like a dress or a shirt or whatever. And then I roll it. I roll it into a roll, which actually helps with wrinkles and stuff. It helps keep it, like, maintain it without wrinkles. And then that way, there's so many more rolls of clothes I can put in a packing cube versus if I was, like, folding it and putting it on top of each other. Like, I'm gone for a week? Nope. Krista has enough clothes for a year.
That's funny. And I roll clothes too. I don't roll it within a packing cube. I just roll it by itself. But that's exactly how I pack in a suitcase as well. I roll all my clothes.
Highly suggest in a packing cube then, because also it gives you less anxiety when you have to pack, because I get anxiety about packing. So I need to be packed. I will wait until the 11th hour to leave to pack, but when I'm going home somewhere, I will need to repack my suitcase 2 or 3 times before we actually
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Having the cubes and putting stuff away just makes me feel better.
Gotcha. You know what gives me anxiety? If we're doing carry-on, like, God forbid you have a liquid over X amount of milliliters, like, that stresses me out. Like, oh my gosh, that's right. And I'm like looking on the website, like, okay, it has to be this. I like go buy the like particular thing. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna like measure it out. Like, oh, that stresses me out.
So what kind of liquids would you normally be taking on there that you'd have to like worry about, like formula or?
Well, like when my husband and I would travel, if we're going like Florida or something, like I'm not packing a big suitcase. I'm just gonna do a carry-on and go, right? Yeah.
I've never
done a
carry-on in my life.
That means all of my toiletries, aka you're only allowed so many like liquids, so you have to be very smart and
Especially
you have to like logistically figure it out. Exactly. So, but you know, America, you can buy things when you get there as well, but it's a little stressful.
But I got so many questions because you and I both have curly hair. Like, I need to check my bag because I need to bring all of my arsenal of my curly hair. So what the actual fuck are you bringing in your carry-on to like maintain your curly hair routine? Or do you buy it when you're at your destination?
Yeah, like I'll buy like some things there, but then I'll have to put some of my products for my hair into the little bottles.
And that will last you for like a week?
Yeah, girl, it is what it is.
Girl, you're gonna have to like live stream when you're like on your vacation at the end of this year so I can understand what the situation is with that, because I can't.
Well,
and you're a natural beauty. Like, I couldn't find like travel makeup and stuff. Like, no. Krista is shellacking every day. She needs to check the bag.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm going on a trip with my family. You think I need all the beauty things and everything? You know, it goes like the kids, you know, make sure they have everything they need. And then it's like me way at the bar. I'm like, can I like put some socks in there? No, it's okay. I don't need them. It's fine. Right. It's fine. It's all good.
It's just underwear and caftans. Just like whatever.
Whatever. I'll figure it out.
What about...
Okay, so that's...
Wait, what about shoes?
It's a good one. But it depends where you're going. Again, you and I travel to very different places.
Do we?
And the different vacations. Like, I'm going to wherever I'm going, and I'm going out for dinner at 5 o'clock. I'm good. I'm just going to go with all the seniors and get that discount and have my dinner. Like, that sounds great.
Wait until March.
You, on the other hand,
you, on the other hand,
very different.
Listen, I go to bed early on vacation. I'm not saying I don't like to go out once in a while, but I'm definitely not like out every night when I'm on vacation. I'm also there to recharge, and part of that for me is being able to like get good sleep. Maybe not eating dinner at 5 o'clock, because I don't have to put the kids down, but I'm not balls to the wall every night.
Got it. Okay, good to know. Okay, so did you say everything you wanted to say?
But what about shoes?
Oh, shoes.
No.
Yeah, like, girl, if I'm going to wear my running shoes to the airport because I'm a freak, and I'll bring like a sandal or two, I'm good to go.
I would agree. Like, the thing that I will give the least priority is like my shoes, where it's like, if I'm going to a tropical thing, but I used to want to try and like get all my fancy shoes and my clog and my wedge, but they were too heavy, and I need that weight for all of my curly hair products or just my products in general. So it's flats, it's flip flops, it's whatever.
Exactly.
And then if it's for somewhere that's like fall, it's like a boot, a running shoe, and an in-between shoe. And then one of those is going to the airport. It's the airport outfit. I personally like to have a backpack as a carry-on because it just makes it easy for me to like move with my checked luggage always, and then my backpack. Some people, I've heard of this trick. I've never done it because I would never carry it. Is like a zippered pillowcase where they put their extra clothes in the pillowcase. Have you heard of that?
I have heard of that. Yeah, they shove so much crap into that. Yeah.
I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't want to lug around all that shit.
No. I'm 100% the backpack as well. Both my husband and I, and my kids too. I'm like, here's your backpack. Here's all your shit. Like, let's go. Yeah, no, it's great. You need it because you want to bring. Okay, so what do you bring to the airport / on the plane?
Do you bring like electronics with you, like tablets and stuff?
Yeah, don't you?
Of course I do. Like, what? Okay. What? I mean, even though I'm going to sleep on the plane anyway because I haven't slept the night before, but like what am I going to watch? Like the airplane movie? No.
But I also feel like a lot of them are taking them out, like a lot of the airplanes,
more frugal airlines.
They're like removing them because everyone has a tablet now, right? So it's just like, you have to bring your tablet. Yeah, I would say mandatory things that are in my backpack: tablet, headphones, and maybe snacks. You gotta have snacks. Like, hello.
Oh.
Yeah. Even before when I was a mom. Before I was a mom, I had snacks, obviously. And like, if you have room, put an extra pair of clothes. No. You never did it? No snacks?
Never. I always buy stuff at the airport. Never pack snacks. Well, that's a lie. I pack snacks in my like check luggage for like where I'm at my destination, and maybe I'll feel a little snacky in the hotel room. Snacky. But not for like, not in the carry-on.
And then an extra pair of clothes. So like, just in case, like, God forbid they like lose your luggage, if you check your luggage, like puts like underwear, and like shorts and a t-shirt, like just in case. And then I always buy, if I either bring snacks or I'll buy snacks in a water, always at the airport. You always need to stay hydrated while you're on the plane.
My airport routine has always been like, buy my food. Well, find my gate, right? You find your gate because you don't want to be figuring that out later.
I was going to ask you. Yeah. So when you go through customs and security, what's the first thing you do?
You go find the gate.
Yeah, 100%.
Is the gate here? Is this where the flight is leaving from? Great. Out of the Toronto airport, it rarely changes, so you're pretty much good to go. But I've learned the hard way traveling in the U.S. that the gates change all the time. And their airports are massive, especially Atlanta Airport. I almost missed a flight because we were at a gate just waiting, just like Canadians being like, this is where it's going to take off from. They don't make announcements. And then we just look up on the board and see that gate has changed. We need to get on a train to be able to transfer to another terminal. Like, what? So a lot of Americans will just stand in front of the board and watch the board. And I'll be like, why are they doing that? Why aren't they sitting down? Because the effing gate changes.
Jeez. But yeah, isn't that a funny thing? Like, I don't know. I think a lot of people do this. They'll get through what they need to get through at the airport, and then they'll see where their gate is, and they have to like go find their gate to make sure it's there and to make sure they know where it is. And then once they find it, they're like, okay, it's there. Now I can do what I want to do.
Yeah, but it makes the most sense, right? You want to familiarize yourself with where it is, so now you can fuck around and shop and sit down and eat, knowing that you can plan to the last minute of, when you want to get up and go back to the gate because you know exactly where it is.
Yeah, it's so true. It's so true. And are you the type of person that gets to the airport early, Krista?
Yes. Because I have bad luck. So something would happen with a car accident or something.
Oh my God. Why would you say that?
Because that's how I live my life. When I traveled for work a few years ago, I've had a lot of bad experiences traveling for work, by the way, which is why I don't like doing it anymore. I was traveling to LA, and for whatever reason, that Monday was packed to clear customs to get through. And it was a lineup even to get to the gate, to check my luggage, all of it. And I had gotten there more than 3 hours early, probably 3.5 hours early.
Wow.
The only reason why I didn't miss my flight, because I was still waiting in security or like to go through the immigration when they were boarding my flight.
Stressful.
But I had checked my bag. So the thing is, if you've checked your bag, they cannot leave you at the airport. They can't travel with a bag without a passenger. Like, that's a rule. So they have to find you, or they have to take the bag off. All of that takes time. So that bought me time to run to the gates to be able to get on the plane. I was the last person on the plane.
And everyone was staring at you when you got on.
Yeah. Especially because Hayden Christensen and Rachel Bilson were on that flight at the first row. Yeah.
Shut up.
I kid you not. When they were still together.
Wow.
So Hayden just looked up and smiled, being like, yeah, I know you know who I am. And Rachel had this giant fucking sun hat on. It's like you're in a plane with the baby.
Oh my gosh. That's funny.
Yeah, so whatevs.
Yeah, I need to get to the airport early as well. Like, I don't care. I rather be so early. I'm more than happy just to walk around, poke in the little stores, get some food, hang out. I don't want to be rushing or stressed.
No. Like, I want to freak out at the airport. I want to have my anxiety at the airport. I don't want to have my anxiety on the way to the airport. I will just hang out, read a book, friggin' go into like a catatonic state until we're ready to like leave, because there's two parts that are anxious for me is like weighing in my bag, because I'm always right on the weight.
Oh my gosh, Krista.
So that's stressful. So I can't feel any sense of calm until I've checked in and I know that I've cleared that part of the trip.
Got it.
And then, finding the gate, I guess, and making sure that the plane isn't delayed or something, or the flight isn't canceled. It's just like, will I get on? Will it be fine?
Yeah. Yeah. So then you mentioned you didn't like the takeoff part. Why?
Something about it freaks me out. Even though I've always traveled from like a very young age and been on airplanes, at some point in my life, the takeoff freaks me out. So we come out of the gate and we're like taxiing down the runway, and then we're waiting in line for our turn to take off. That's fine. And then now it's our turn, and we turn, and then we're there. We're ready to go. And then all of a sudden, this airplane makes the most loud, scariest noise ever to let you know it's ready to rock, which startles me every time. And then we just start to propel like a rocket ship down the runway, and then we just fly off into the sky, right?
Yeah.
And then all I'm thinking in my mind is, this is tons of metal. And for some reason, science tells me that the jet fuel is going to create this propulsion that's going to shoot us up in the air, number one, and keep us up there for as many hours that we're going to be flying, and not plummet down to the earth and like burst into flames.
I heard a stat years ago. I don't know if this is accurate or not, but they said that there's more car accidents than plane accidents.
Sure. Yeah.
So maybe keep that in mind the next time you travel. But I know it's stressful. I understand that. Yeah. That I don't like that part either. But for me, it's like the descending, because it takes so freaking long.
No,
like you're descending for forever. Like even when you're just like going normally, you're afraid of falling out of the sky.
No, it's the time that you can fall out of the sky is at the time that you're taking off. That's the chance of like crashing, right? And granted, yes, that's like an old wives' tale that you're more likely to die in a car. Feeling like I'm in control of the car though feels different than when I'm not in control of the plane. Also, I'm not going to get struck by lightning. It doesn't mean I'm not scared of thunderstorms. Like the whole point is that the risk exists. and it freaks me out. So once we get past that initial takeoff, and then sometimes, you know, when they're hit pockets of air, whatever, you just do that like boop, drop a couple hundred feet. Like I need to get past that.
No, turbulence, like no, can go away. Scares the shit out of me. What's the longest flight you've ever been on?
The longest flight was when I went to Asia, went to Hong Kong.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that was a two-parter. So that was flying to Vancouver, which is, how many hours is Vancouver? Like 6? And then, I don't know, it was like 12 to 14 hours maybe to Hong Kong.
That's a long flight.
Yeah. I don't necessarily think that I could do that again. I could like fly over to Europe and do that, but I don't know if I could do an Asia one again.
Jeez. I know. And then I'm just going to refer everything back to TikTok. And then I hear people that like, oh, I was on like a 22-hour flight. It's like, what?
Yeah.
I can't even like comprehend
That's direct.
that. Like, what? How? That's insane. Like, how many movies did you watch?
You drug yourself. That's what I did. I drugged myself. Grab all.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That's wild.
It's a lot.
And also, can we just, before we go and wrap it up, can we just talk about how loud the airplane toilets are when you flush it?
Even like the airplane itself is loud. Like that white noise is like...
Yeah. Very loud.
Aggressive.
Yeah. But when you flush a toilet, I 1,000% every single time cover my ears. Because it's so loud.
Powerful. It's
Yes.
powerful. It has the ability... I have a bad story, but I'm afraid to tell you because I don't think you'll ever use the bathroom again on an airplane.
Please don't.
Worry about
Please
it.
don't.
Yeah. But I mean, the suction of that toilet is very strong. So I get why.
Yes.
Like, even that I'll like cover in case, because it's just like, I don't want to be sucked in the toilet.
Absolutely.
I try and avoid it, actually. I try and avoid using the toilet on the airplane because that is also stressful.
Yeah, I try, but then I can't. I get nervous bladder. I'm like, I have to go.
And then you're doing the thing like trying to time it. Like, is the line big enough? Am I going to get stuck behind the cart?
Absolutely. And then if you don't go on the plane and you're like, oh, I'll just go like right when we land, there'll be a bathroom right when I get off the plane. But then it takes you like forever to actually get off the plane. Like, no. I'm not doing that.
Do you buy anything on the plane?
No. Unless I'm like a silly person and didn't like bring any snacks or buy any food at the airport, then maybe. But 95% I do not buy anything. You?
I go both ways. Sometimes if it's cheaper for me to buy it ahead of time, so you can like pre-buy your like meal package on the plane, and I feel like that's going to be cheaper than like buying airport food, I will do that.
Gotcha. That's cool.
I feel like there's so much more things that we could probably talk about, but we've talked about quite a bit.
We can always do like a second part or part 2 if
For sure.
anyone wants it, because there is just so much information around traveling. Absolutely.
Yeah. I think the key to this whole thing is that traveling hasn't stopped for the world. If anything, the only place that it has stopped for is that maybe like corporate organizations are limiting travel from their perspective because of increased costs. But families and people want to live their lives, and they're not stopping. And they're not letting inflation stop them either. They are getting on the plane and they are going to go see that world, damn it.
Or they're going to go on a road trip with their family and go see friends and family, or like they're going to find different ways to, take a vacation or go traveling, and they're going to do it. Absolutely. I have something that says Americans traveled 49% more in 2023 than 2022. So people are out there and they want to travel.
Interesting.
And the top types of travel were like visiting family and friends, road trips, and beach vacations.
Okay. Interesting. And maybe to round that out, I'll add some stats pertaining to like budget. A budget traveler probably spends between $100 to $150 per day, while somebody mid-range will spend between $200 to $300 per day. And then obviously rich people, what is money? One day that will be me as well.
That's good. Do you like? I was trying to look up like the most popular travel destination,
I think that's
but I was
hard.
getting like Yeah, I was getting multiple places. Like one site said that London, England was the most popular travel destination. Another one said Hong Kong. Another one said France. So I don't know, maybe all three of them.
I think like the Caribbean is a hot spot. Europe is a hot spot. Yeah. And then Asia is a hot spot. But those are like continents.
Exactly. But Canada is not on that list.
No. I mean, Americans who've seen all the states probably like venture to Canada. Be like, what's up here?
Maybe.
Just healthcare and some trees, really not much else.
But I think that's it. Do you have anything to add, Krista?
I think we've touched on all of it. The only other thing that we probably didn't really need to get into, but you touched on, was just like finding ways to communicate if you're in a country that doesn't speak your native tongue. And again, Google Translate, all those things can definitely help. Those tools are so innovative now that you can probably get by without any problems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, as always, we want the listeners to weigh in, tell us about their travel stories, their travel tips. We definitely want to learn more about how people are traveling on a budget or finding the ways to optimize their travel.
Especially nowadays, because it's so expensive.
Exactly. Of course, we're available on all the socials. We're on the Twitter, we're on the Instagram, we're on the TikTok. You can find all of our social media channels in the description of this episode in case you need to find us. And definitely leave us comments. What did you think of this episode? As always, we want to hear your feedback. You can listen to this episode everywhere you listen to your podcasts. Spotify, Google, Apple, all of them. Follow us and leave us a rating. Let us know what you think of our stuff.
Yay. Until next time, Krista.
I'll see you next week, girl.
See you on Tuesday. Bye.
Bye.